This is In-Depth Radio in Toronto News Talk 1010. I'm Jim Richards. Earlier today, we heard that Tim Bosma, who tragically went missing over a week ago, the 32-year-old man, his body had been found. Let's go to Hamilton right now, where a press conference is taking place with more details. This is the Hamilton Police Headquarters, now live on In-Depth Radio News Talk 1010.
On Monday, May 6, 2013, Tim Bosma accompanied two males in his 2007 pickup truck for a test drive. Investigation has now revealed that Tim Bosma was murdered. He was taken to a location in Waterloo area where his body was burned beyond recognition. This is now a homicide investigation. The coroner's office, as well as the Center of Forensic Science, have both been consulted and are assisting with this investigation at different sites where we have warrants being executed. The police investigation at the present time is extensive. 2 search warrants in Waterloo region are being executed on properties owned by the accused Millard. Waterloo Regional Police and Brantford Police and the OPP are assisting with the search warrants as well as the investigation. In Hamilton, search warrants are being executed on 3 different vehicles. We are now confirming that the black pickup truck contained within the trailer that was in Kleinburg, Ontario, is Mr. Bosma's black Dodge pickup. Halton Police and Waterloo Police Services are assisting with these search warrants of the trucks. Investigators are also being assisted by the Toronto Police Service and the York Regional Police Service, interviewing several people from the Toronto area involved in this investigation. Police have received many leads and have many leads to follow up. Police are concentrating their efforts to identify the other suspects involved in this crime. Due to the media response to this homicide investigation, police continue to receive several tips from the public every day. On Wednesday, May 15th, Dylan Millard will be charged with first-degree murder. Due to the overwhelming response from the public, police have set up the tip line. Police are asking anyone with information in this investigation to continue to contact that tip line at 905-546-2100 or to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. Thank you.
You're listening to the press conference here, live from Hamilton, on the murder now of Tim Bosma. Let's listen into some of the questions here on In-Depth Radio News Talk 1010. This is the Hamilton Police Media spokesperson. I respectfully
ask you that each outlet has one question with a follow, and we will go to a secondary set of questions if we do have the time, and I thank you for that.
This is Detective Sergeant Matt Kavanaugh taking questions now from the media on In-Depth Radio News Talk 1010.
In the Waterloo region.
Can you say which premise?
No, I will not say.
2 warrants, is that correct?
Pardon me?
2 warrants in Waterloo region, is that correct?
At this time, we have 2 warrants up in Waterloo region, and I'm not going to say which location.
Just one of the others.
That's correct.
Stage. Was Bosma known to police? Does he have a criminal record?
You're talking the victim?
Yeah.
No, he does not.
Was he targeted?
Yes, I do.
I have Evie over here in the red. How was Mr. Bosma's body burned?
That's part of the evidence that's going to be before the court, so I'm not going to discuss that.
You can't say whether an incinerator was used?
I'm not going to get into the evidence.
Again, just one question per outlet. Kate?
Do we have a cause of death at this point in time that you're willing to release, or do you believe that he was burned after he died?
As in any homicide investigation, the cause of death comes from the expertise that we gain from the coroner's office. In this case, the coroner's office hasn't been involved yet, so we can't determine a cause of death at this time.
Molly?
One name has been all over social media, Andrew Mikulski. Can you talk about what, if any, involvement he has in this case?
Yes, Andrew has been identified, he's been interviewed, and he's been cleared as having involvement.
We have a question at the back.
from Global News. What can you tell us about the other suspects? When you said plural, how many are you looking at?
Video evidence that we've now recovered shows that when Mr. Bosma's vehicle left his residence, there was a second vehicle following. We do not know at this time how many people were in that second vehicle. So right now we're looking at least 3, possibly more.
Question over here on the left.
Can you talk about motive?
I wish I could. I don't know the motive at this time.
I have a question at the back, gentleman in the gray coat.
I guess in terms of, I was just going to ask about the motive, but in terms of the areas that you're exploring, I mean, are we working under the assumption that he was killed for the truck, or are we exploring other possibilities?
Well, one of the reporters asked me earlier, do I think he was targeted? And the answer was yes. And that's possibly a motive.
What was your, I mean, I know, I'm not sure how much experience you have in policing, but I guess what's the personal level, what's your reaction to the case?
Well, I think it's a terrible crime, and that's why there's so much media attention, because this affects us all. It affects the entire community. It affects me as well.
There's a question back here.
Any connection between Mr. Bosma and the suspect before Monday, before last?
There's no connection whatsoever.
Sorry, Adrian?
You at the time when you were looking for Tim Bosma, you released information on a suspect vehicle and suspects. What information can you tell us now about these additional suspects we're learning about, the second vehicle and any information on the possible people in it?
First of all, the media releases in the beginning, we did not list a suspect vehicle. Mr. Bosma's vehicle was taken by 2 suspects, and we provided a suspect description of 2 people, one of them being Mr. Millard. The second suspect, we're still investigating. He has not been identified at this time.
We gave you an ambition temperature. What can the public do to help find this second vehicle?
We have next one here.
Information on the vehicle.
So, Adrian, that'll be a second question.
I just wonder, when do you believe that he died, and when did the family find out?
From the evidence that we have right now, I believed that Mr. Bosma died that night.
I have Adam over here from CBC.
Is Millard cooperating with police at this point?
That's part of the evidence, so I'm not going to get into that.
With the first-degree murder charge, are you alleging that Millard planned on killing him from the moment of, the meetup at 9:30 on Monday night?
Under the criminal code, forcible confinement raises a murder charge to first-degree murder, and that's why that will be laid tomorrow.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Follow-up?
With the forcible confinement charge, can you just tell us how you could charge him with forcible confinement, or what information you had to charge him with forcible confinement before all the other developments surfaced over the weekend?
Mr. Bosma went on a test drive with 2 males, so he entered that vehicle of his own free will, but he was not allowed to leave, and therefore it's forcible confinement is the proper charge.
We have a question in the back.
When were you able to identify Mr. Bosma?
I'm not going to get into that. How? I'm not going to get into that. That's part of the evidence.
Question that.
First-degree murder charge tomorrow?
That is correct. Wednesday, the 15th.
Do we know when the other suspects might be apprehended?
Well, I wish I could tell you today, but that investigation is still going on. There are several officers still working on that, and he will be arrested. I can guarantee that.
Can you talk about the amount of resources you still have involved in this investigation? How many officers you have out there? What sorts of units you have involved?
As the media response indicates, this has been a terrible crime. And as such, it's created this atmosphere of the media and the public. And as well, it's caused a lot of police services to offer their services to us for this investigation, which has helped immensely. Today, on the ground, we have 120 officers working today alone. Every single day, there has been similar to that numbers. And so I thank the neighboring police services and the community for those resources. Superintendent Kinsella has been great for supplying different resources to us to allow this investigation to go on.
Thank you, Sue. Black jacket.
The public has actually really been coming forward with a lot of tips here. What can they do to help at this point, find this other suspect?
Any information that they do have, these people talk. They talk to other people, and we need these people to call the tip line and supply information to identify the other people involved in this crime.
Can you release the name of this other suspect that you're looking for?
I just stated he has not been identified.
We have Mr. Coleman at the back.
Is there any concern for public safety with the suspects not in custody?
Certainly there's a fear of that. Look what he did the first time to Mr. Bosma. So yes, there is a fear. And we're doing everything we can to identify this person and get him under arrest.
We have a question at the back.
Sure. What's the story here? Can we assume that the primary motive was trying to steal that truck, or was there something else involved?
I can't answer that question at this time. It's a good question and one I hope to answer as the investigation goes on.
You can't answer because legally you can't, or because you don't know?
Because I don't have the answer.
I think we've gone through everyone a first time. Gentleman over here for a second.
Can you describe the second vehicle, the following vehicle?
The video evidence that we have, we can't name the vehicle. We've had a lot of people from different auto squads of different services look at the video for us, and we can't identify it.
Can you give a general description, like truck, car, that?
It looks like a SUV type vehicle, but I don't want to be wrong about that. I'm relying on other officers to identify that vehicle for me, and that's what they give me today.
Any indication that this vehicle was...
We have a question at the back that has not had opportunity.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify in terms of the suspects, the additional ones. Were you looking at 3 more in the second car, or at least 3 total? Like, is it including the 2 that you've already mentioned?
That's correct. We're looking at 3 total right now, but I don't know how many people were in that last car.
3 total involved or 3 outstanding?
3 total involved.
Over here.
Any indication that second vehicle was spotted in the area of the Etobicoke incident the day before? Have you guys gone through surveillance footage from that industrial area?
Yes, we have. We've gone at length through the surveillance there, and no other vehicle was seen at that location.
Now, you did mention, I know you haven't identified the second suspect, but you keep on referring to that person as a he. You have perhaps an idea who this person might be, but don't have yet the evidence to prove.
During one of the earlier media releases, we released a description of 2 suspects, both being male. That was given to us by Mrs. Bosma and a second complainant that experienced the same incident.
Second complainant?
There was a second test drive prior to Mr. Bosma in Toronto area. And we've talked about that at previous media releases.
We had a follow-up over here from Ethan.
Sir, what can you tell us about your ideas of who may have played a leadership role in what is now assuming a conspiracy? Is it the suspect in custody, the suspects outstanding?
The person in custody is an accused. He's not a suspect anymore. And I don't know the answer to that question.
We have a lady back here at the base coat. Go ahead.
Can you confirm that Tim died on the day he disappeared, May 6th?
Mr. Bosma died. I believe, someone asked me the question when he died. I believe he died shortly after he was abducted. So Monday night into Tuesday morning.
Katie?
Do you believe that the actual murder took place in Waterloo region? And if that is the case, does this still mean it's a Hamilton police investigation, or does it go over to Waterloo police for jurisdiction?
First of all, I don't know where the actual murder took place. And we will continue to be the lead investigator in this case.
So I understand Del Norb is the CEO of Millardair. Can you talk about what kind of operations you're running out of the hangar? Do you suspect any sort of chop shop business? I've heard rumors of that.
We have officers in there right now doing a search warrant. There's several vehicles in there as well as planes. I'm not sure what operation he is doing there. We plan to call in experts from our auto squad to have a look at the vehicles in there.
So it is auto-related, not airplane-related?
That's correct.
Melissa? You said that Bosma was targeted. In the Etobicoke case, is there a possibility that they were searching for Bosma and his truck when they took that Etobicoke truck for a test drive?
Absolutely not.
A question back here.
Was there much information gleaned from Mr. Bosma's cell phone when you recovered it? In terms of suspects, connections, being targeted?
Mr. Bosma's cell phone led us to the present accused, Mr. Millard, and that was the only evidence that it provided.
Now we have a question at the end here.
What's the extent of the work that you still have to do on the two locations you mentioned, and how long do you think it will take?
Both locations in Waterloo Region, as I'm sure you all know what locations they are. We have the Centre for Forensic Science, as well as a coroner's office up there assisting with the investigation. This is forensic evidence. Forensic evidence is very slow in order to gather and slow to collect. And therefore, I expect to be there quite some time. The warrants that we've had signed, we asked for 2 weeks.
There's a question back there. The gentleman has an opportunity.
The picture that's been painted of Tim is essentially a family man heavily involved with his church, by all accounts somebody that would not be involved in something like this. Have you found anything else about him, or is the picture that's being painted what you see in the investigation?
The picture which is being painted of Mr. Bosma is what we have found in our investigation.
Adam?
So it was Tim's truck found in Millard's mother's house or in the driveway. Is she involved in any way? Is she being looked at?
Millard's mother, Mrs. Barnes, has absolutely no involvement or knowledge of this case.
We're going to take 2 more questions. We'll have a question here.
I want to be absolutely clear of the suspect. Do you believe it's a male or female?
I have no idea about that, sir. Yeah, I know the second suspect is a male. Whoever was in the following vehicle, I don't know. It could be a female, it could be a male.
Beyond the media coverage of this event, this has gone wild on social media as well. The hashtag #FindTimBosma has been trending on Twitter. They've been arranging flyers and searches from the Bosma family garage. What do you make of the kind of connection this has made to this community? And have you ever seen something like this so organized and so developed before?
No, I haven't. I've attended the Bosma house several times during this investigation, and the garage was full of people tweeting and going on different social medias, and it's quite amazing just how much has touched our community as well as entire Canada, and it's a terrible case.
Has that helped in any way? Just as an aside, has that helped in any way?
Well, it's helped us because we also monitor it. We've placed